gentlemen, presenting to you Pu Pu, Potter, and Pu Pu.
Pu Pu, Pu Pu, Potter, that is what they call us. Pu Pu, Pu Pu, Potter, that is what they call us. Pu Pu, Pu Pu, Potter, that is what they call us. Pu Pu, Pu Pu, Potter, that is what they call us. Pu Pu, Pu Pu, Potter, that is what they call us. It all started back on the farm of Farmer John. Farmer John was a big man, about the size of an evergreen tree, and he had a big belly and a really big pitchfork. Well, Farmer John had kept a bunch of animals on his farm, and one of his most beloved was his parrot, Pu Pu the Parrot. Pu Pu was a giant parrot, about as tall as a giraffe, but about as fat as a hippo, and Farmer John had bought her from a special pet store. Potter, a very small dog, lived underneath the wing of Pu Pu and constantly nibbled on Pu Pu's feathers. Pu Pu's feathers were rather delicious. Then there was Pu Pu. She was a really tiny bird that Pu Pu and Potter had picked up on their adventures. Pu Pu lived underneath the arm of Potter the dog and had a really good life under there. So whenever these three animals would travel on their adventures, Potter would be underneath Pu Pu's wing and Pu Pu would be hiding within Potter's arm. They were very close to one another and they helped each other wherever they went. Farmer John wished they could all spend more time on the farm, but Pu Pu's adventurous spirit couldn't keep her still. So off they went on many, many thrilling times. The biggest adventure they ever went on was when Pu Pu visited Hawaii, her native land. Pu Pu had been having dreams about Hawaii repeatedly over the last 3 nights.
Hawaii.
Pu Pu fantasized about eating macadamia nuts and just couldn't get them out of her head. She wanted to eat those macadamia nuts and cover them all in chocolate and eat them until there wasn't any more left. Those nuts would stay in Pu Pu's belly for weeks, slowly churning and roasting inside her little feather-covered belly. Potter and Pu Pu couldn't understand Pu Pu's need and love for macadamia nuts, but they might understand if Potter and Pu Pu had grown up in Hawaii. For the first 3 months of Pu Pu's life, Pu Pu had been fed macadamia nuts by her mother Puma. Puma, Pu Pu's mother, was as big as a giant giraffe and had so many feathers she could pass very easily for a pillow. The other parrots in Hawaii used to call her Puma the Pillow and loved her very much. Pu Pu loved her the most, however. When Pu Pu was caught and sold to a pet store in Ohio, she was very sad. She missed her mother very much, but she decided she would make the most of her new life in Ohio. Pu Pu had lived at the pet store for about a year before Farmer John came by and bought the parrot. Farmer John instantly fell in love with the parrot when he saw it. At first, Farmer John thought the parrot might make a very good worker, but then when he brought Pu Pu home, he felt Pu Pu's delicate feathers and wanted only to keep Pu Pu in a cage and admire it every day. Pu Pu liked her special cage, and it was as tall as a small dinosaur and as wide as an elephant's belly. It held Potter and Pu Pu too. Now Farmer John had not bought Potter or Pu Pu. This was solely Pu Pu's doing. Potter was a small brown dog of about 2 feet long, and Pu Pu was a miniature red bird who had a really high squeaking voice. Pu Pu had picked both of them up in her adventures, and Pu Pu was very happy with both of them.
I love you, Potter and Pu Pu.
Pu Pu had lived about the first 6 months all alone without Pu Pu and Potter and had felt really lonely. Now that Pu Pu and Potter were there, she felt that she was warmer at night and cooler during the afternoon. Plus, Pu Pu had somebody she could always share her jokes with. Potter and Pu Pu always got Pu Pu's jokes, and Pu Pu loved it. Pu Pu always makes jokes about dogs and birds, knowing that Potter and Pu Pu would enjoy this all the more. They all seemed to fit together like a jigsaw puzzle, and Pu Pu was very proud and happy about this fact. When Farmer John came to visit with Pu Pu, he often would get mad to see Potter and Pu Pu frolicking around with Pu Pu, but he had no choice. He knew that Pu Pu loved Potter and Pu Pu, and that's part of what made Pu Pu so happy. So Farmer John could really do nothing about it. So Pu Pu woke up one Wednesday morning and decided it was time to visit Hawaii. So Pu Pu, Pu Pu, and Potter all got on a jet plane and were ready for their trip to Hawaii.
Oh boy!
Shouted Pu Pu. They all couldn't wait, although Pata was a little scared.
I'm scared. I don't want to go on an airplane.
Pata had never been outside of Ohio where Farmer John's farm was, and Pata didn't know what to expect. Nevertheless, Pata trusted Pu Pu and knew wherever Pu Pu went, it was ultimately for the best. So they all got together in the first-class section of the plane. The stewardess didn't know where to put all of them because, first of all, Pu Pu was really big and some of the passengers might take offense at the sight of them. All their color and all. So she had no choice but to put them in first class where they were served orange juice and peanuts constantly. Although Pata kept asking for the club soda because it tickled his mouth so much.
Yummy! I love the bubbles. They tickle.
They loved flying in the plane, especially since they were all together. They also loved looking out the window and seeing all the clouds go by. They wondered how high they all were. Pata didn't really care. He just wanted more club soda and peanuts to keep his mind off flying.
Yum! I love peanuts.
He didn't like the idea of being so high up in the air. Pu Pu knew that Pata had fear, so Pu Pu kept Pata close under her wing. Pu Pu knew the warmth and color and familiarity of the wing would keep Pata feeling very safe. There were other animals on the airplane, and Pu Pu started entertaining all the animals on the plane, coming up with some funny rap songs about birds and pigs.
There once was a pig who sat on his wig, and the pig was always doing a jig. Didn't know what to do, they didn't know what they had. And the pig got upset and he really got mad. He said, Birdie, why do you always pick me all day? And the birdie said, Piggy, it's because I'm just that way.
Pu Pu got so tired of entertaining the animals, though, that eventually all three of them went to sleep. They had a nice and restful sleep, too. The stewardess came by to see how they were all doing and noticed they were all asleep. So she put a nice big blue blanket over Pu Pu and put their seat back so they could sleep more easily. Pu Pu, Pu Pu, and Pata all woke up together and they were very excited. They knew that they were close to Hawaii. Their window shade had been pulled down and they couldn't see out the airplane window, but they could see the light coming through. Pu Pu opened up the window shade and was amazed to see what she saw. She saw the island of Hawaii, and she couldn't believe her eyes. "Wow!" said Pu Pu. "Just like I remembered it. I love Hawaii." They finally arrived on the island. Pu Pu, Pata, and Pu Pu couldn't wait to leave the plane. They waited for all the big people to exit the plane. They finally got out of their seats and started exiting the plane. When they got outside, there were all these women in hula dresses. They were dark-skinned and wearing hula skirts. Pu Pu counted 7 of them. She was really impressed. She couldn't believe there were so many women giving Pu Pu, Pata, and Pu Pu these amazing leis, which were wonderful bouquets of flowers to be worn around their necks.
I look pretty,
said Pu Pu.
Ruff! I don't like the lei,
barked Pata. He immediately began to munch on the lei. "Stop that," said Pu Pu. "The leis are not for eating," said Pata. So off they went to check into their hotel. They were very excited. They couldn't wait to go into their hotel. They were going into the Wahoo Watiki Resort and Spa, and they were going to be treated like kings. They finally got to the hotel, and Pu Pu ran right up to the registration counter and said, excuse me, Pu Pu want a cracker. Do you have a reservation for Gata?" Gata is Pu Pu's last name. And the very nice blonde lady looked up the names and found Gata listed under the G's. The lady said,
"Why, sure we do."
Well, Pu Pu said. "We all have a lot of bags. Please help us with them if you could. You could?" So the lady called a bellboy, and the man came and helped Pu Pu, Pu Pu, and Pata with their luggage. Pata was a little afraid because he was afraid the bellboy would lose the luggage. In the meantime, Pu Pu wanders off and hopped her way along to explore all the things inside the hotel.
Hey,
said Pata.
Ruff, where are you going? You're going to get lost. Don't worry,
said Pu Pu.
I won't get lost.
Pata told Pu Pu to come back, so Pu Pu came right back. So they all went upstairs and checked into their room,
Ooh,
said Pu Pu.
it's so big. I love it. Let's jump on the beds. I love them,
said Pata, and immediately ran up to one of the beds and began bouncing up and down on it. Then Pata immediately began yelping and demanding that they all go down to the swimming pool so they could have some more fun. Pu Pu told Pata to quiet down, but Pata just kept barking.
I want to go swimming. Ruff, ruff. I want to go swimming.
So Pu Pu told Pata, if you will help Pee-Pee with her swim trunks, then yes, we will all go swimming together, said Pata.
Yay! I'm so excited.
So Pata helped Pee-Pee into her nice little bikini.
Thank you. I love you, Pata,
said Pee-Pee.
Let's go swimming now, Ruff,
said Pata. So they all ran up to the elevator, and Pata jumped up and pushed the elevator button.
Yay! We're going down, Ruff,
said Pata. They all climbed into the elevator, and the elevator went down 11 floors to the swimming pool. They were all so excited. As soon as they got there, Pu Pu, Pata, and Pee-Pee all ran up to the edge of the pool, and then Pee-Pee and Pu Pu jumped off the diving board and glided into the pool. Pata was very scared, though. He didn't want to jump right in. Pata, why don't you just jump right in? It's not so cold. Pata wouldn't budge. He just stood there looking at the water below.
I'm scared,
said Pata. Remember the swimming lessons you took, Pata? You'll be fine. Fine.
Ruff. No, I won't. I'm gonna drown.
No, you won't, said Pu Pu, and Pu Pu got out of the pool and went up to Pata and gently led Pata into the pool below. Come on, said Pu Pu. We're going to have some fun. And they both dived into the water together. Pata loved it and immediately began splashing and jumping up and down.
I love the water,
said Pata.
I want to drink the water all gone.
No, said Pu Pu. The water is not to be drunk. It's only for swimming. Pata didn't listen, though, and Pata kept drinking the swimming pool water, and then Pata got very sick. I told you, Pata. It's not good to drink the swimming pool water. It's for silly people, and it's yucky.
Yeah, I guess you're right,
said Pata. After swimming for about a half an hour, they all got very tired. They were all ready to go take a long afternoon nap. So they got out of the swimming pool and dried themselves off. Pu Pu helped Pee-Pee dry off, and Pee-Pee licked the water off Pata's fur. They were all very tired, so they took the elevator all the way back up to their hotel room. They got out of the elevator and went inside their room. Pata jumped up on one of the beds, and Pee-Pee jumped up on top of one of the pillows.
Oh boy, I'm tired, Pata and Pu Pu,
said Pee-Pee. That's okay, kids, said Pu Pu. We will all go to bed, and then get up later for dinner, said Pu Pu. I hear they're going to have a big feast for dinner. I can't wait.
Maybe they'll have macadamia nuts for you,
said Pee-Pee. Maybe, said Pu Pu. I really hope they do. Pu Pu laid down next to Pee-Pee, and Pata was already sleeping on his bed. That night was going to be a great night. They all woke up after a nice 40-minute nap. They really needed that nap. Now it was time to get dressed to go to dinner.
Yay!
said Pee-Pee.
We're gonna have lots of yummy food, and we're gonna have a really fun time. Yay! I can't wait. Ruff! You think they'll have a bone for me there, huh?
said Pata. I don't know, said Pu Pu. But we all have to get ready so we can get ready for dinner. So they all got ready very quickly, for they were all very hungry. Pee-Pee dressed herself, but she had put on 2 different socks on her feet. Pata started laughing.
Oops,
said Pee-Pee.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay, said Pu Pu. Here, let me help you, Pee-Pee.
Thank you, Pu Pu. I love you.
They all went out of their room and took the elevator up to the floor where they were serving dinner. They finally got to the 30th floor and then went into the dining room. They were very excited. They all saw the delicious food everywhere, and yes, there were macadamia nuts on the special dessert table. They picked a table and they all went up to the buffet table, and Pu Pu had some roast beef and potatoes. Pata had some steak with a big bone in it and some squash, and Pee-Pee had some macaroni and cheese. They had so much food they felt really stuffed. Then they all had some strawberry jello and some fruit, and of course, Pu Pu had her yummy macadamia nuts.
Hey, Pu Pu, you think I can try one of those macadamia nuts?
Sure, said Pu Pu.
Are we done with the food yet?
Said Pee Pee. So they all wiped their faces with their napkins and they went to the elevator to take it down to their room. They were really full.
That was the most delicious meal I've ever had,
said Pee Pee.
Ruff. Yeah, I love the chicken and the steak the best. Yeah. You think we could go back there tomorrow?
Barked Pata. Yes, said Pu Pu. We must all go back to the room to rest first, and then tomorrow will be a brand new day. Brand new day,
Yay!
said Pee Pee and Pata. So they got to their room and they all jumped into their beds. They didn't even want to watch TV. They were so tired. Before you knew it, they were all snoring, with Pata underneath Pu Pu's wing and Pee Pee underneath Pata's arm. They were all together in a faraway land, and they were all having fun and were looking forward to tomorrow. The end.